We all know that the Masinga Dam, where we are today, already is overflowing. And we expect that the last dam downstream, which is Kiambere, would also start overflowing in a matter of hours, if not days. And what that means is that the communities that live downstream in the Tana Delta, particularly the counties of Garissa and Tana River, are at very great risk of being displaced with a lot of casualties if adequate precaution and care is not taken. And therefore we are basically sounding an alarm and asking the communities in the two counties particularly that they listen and take heed of the advisory that we are giving today, that they need to relocate. And our officers are on the ground. We have the teams that are led by the National Government Administration officers. So in Tana River, there is a county commissioner and his team of officers from all the other government agencies. And the same case in Garissa County. And we are appealing to the public that they listen to those advisories. And we have emergency teams similar to what we did during the prolonged or increased rainfall that we received towards the end of last year. At the national level, we have set up the National Emergency Response Center under the leadership of the National Disaster Operations Center, which is based at Nyayo House. And that center has all the agencies from all the ministries represented. The Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Roads, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of ASAL and Regional Development, alongside development partners as well as non-state actors, so that we are able to coordinate emergency response and actions, not just in the lower Delta region, but across the country, because the increased rainfall is being experienced literally in every part of the country. Of course, the most affected is the central region, as well as the western part of the country and the coastal region. So the plea to the Kenyans is that let's work closely with these agencies and the leaders who are helping us with these emergency rescue operations. Now, the second thing is we are looking at the long-term solution to a number of these disasters that we continue to experience as a country, more so on account of increased rainfalls. And CS Energy has spoken to the planned development of the High Grand Falls, which will help in mitigating the effect of the overflow that we already are experiencing from the dams along the Tana basin or the Tana River. The third thing is that there is a very good chance that there would be waterborne diseases on account of the increased rainfall and flooding. And we need to take the necessary precautions so that then we don't lose lives that we can prevent. Basically, that is why we are here, and it's again an appeal to all of us to disseminate information, and when we are in distress, we will share also the toll-free number for purposes of coordinating and also raising alarm so that our officers can be able to support. And lastly, I want to appreciate the team, particularly the DCC of Masinga and Embu sub-counties for the work that they are continuing to do in this area. And I appeal to the public to work very closely with them. And we will be monitoring and issuing updates as and when it becomes necessary from our National Emergency Response Center. It's good news that we did not have to forcefully evict or push people away from the flood-prone areas. And for me, it's a good thing that Kenyans are very understanding, and they appreciate what we do as government, and also they also care a lot about their lives. So my expectation is that even with these prolonged rains and increased rains, when people have to move, we will not there will be no need for us to use force to evacuate or to move people. Tunajua mashule zimefungwa, watoto ama wanafunzi wako manyumbani, lakini kwa wiki mbili ijayo mashule zitakuwa zinafunguliwa. So chenye tunafanya kama serikali sana sana kupitia Wizara ya Elimu ni kuangalia ni vipi hatutakuwa na uharibifu zaidi wa infrastructure. Lakini penye kutakuwa na uharibifu, then katika hiyo kitengo yenye nimezungumzia ya the Disaster Operation Center for Emergency Response, tutatafuta mbinu anda kama ni fedha ama kusaidiana na Wizara ya Elimu. Venye tulifanya ile wakati ya El Nino, tutazidi kufanya hivyo, so that wazazi na wanafunzi wasikuwe na wasiwasi. Ikifika wakati wa kurudi kwa mashule, tutahakikisha that kila mwanafunzi amerudi kwa shule.
And the reason we are here is because, as you can see, Masinga is already overflowing. That is a good sign for us in Kengen, because it means we can be able to generate more electricity using water. And you know, hydro generation is the cheapest form of generation at the moment in this country. And therefore that means that when we have more hydro generation, then the cost to the consumers through our offtake Kenya Power is lower. And that is very encouraging for us. But the negative side of that, it means then that the people who are downstream, that are very close to the river, then it means that there is a small risk and they need to move out of the areas where we can have the flooding and move to safer places. But what we are saying, we are managing the generation of hydro. We have increased the generation to the maximum possible. Currently, we are doing around 461 megawatts out of the possible 600 at the moment. But when it comes to the peak time in the evening between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock, then we are able to increase that to 561 megawatts. And that means that the total composition of generation that is hydro is higher. And as I have said earlier, then the cost goes down. We are happy that the rains came. I think we were having a discussion earlier that sometimes in September, we were not generating any electricity from Masinga power plant. And it's because the dam was at its lowest level. And you can imagine within about 8 to 9 months, the levels have gone up. So this country, we are blessed that the rains have come. And we want to believe that this will continue and we'll manage the flow of the water so that it doesn't affect our citizens downstream.
First of all is to thank the team from Kengen, because from the time we started the heavy rains, we have not spilled yet. Last night, 30 minutes before midnight, that's when we started to overflow in Masinga. We have still not yet overflown in Kiambere, but it's just a matter of time with the increased flows. This means, as the MD has said, and you did see that your power costs have indeed come down by about 14%. We anticipate to hold on that position and probably lower the cost probably further because of the increased hydro generation. So we thank God for the increased rains. However, with that, then we have a challenge in that since we have not yet built the high ground force, which we are anticipating to start building, and we have not yet raised Masinga Dam, which is the other thing that we want to raise, so that in the future, should we have increased rains, then we do not have this challenge of overflowing. The anticipation is that we, by the end of the second quarter of the next financial year, that means by around January, we anticipate to go to bidding so that we can raise Masinga Dam by 1.5 meters. That will help us hold more water and therefore avoid the overflowing that you have just seen, and therefore also help the flooding in downstream, that is Garissa, Tana River counties. So what we are here, and I am glad we are here with my colleague from Interior, is to ensure that we rally the communities downstream. And we want to sound the warnings. I know our Interior Department has really emphasized and has gone out of the way to alert the people downstream. But today we are with the Interior PS, who is going now to send the final warning shot, because once we start spilling here, it will take about 4 and sometimes it may take about 3 days before now you see serious flooding in Garissa. So today we are here to urge you that please get out of the way of the river, because water is extremely dangerous. We have lost enough lives. We do not want to lose more lives. So please, we are urging you as Kenyans, get out of the way of the river, because you are risking your lives. Most important is what I've said, that to mitigate the future, we want to raise this dam where we are standing by another 1.5 meters. We have funding. We are almost complete with the feasibility study, and also we are working to ensure that we also work on the high ground force dam that is going to not only mitigate flooding, but it is also going to help us in energy generation and also in terms of irrigation downstream in Bura and Hola irrigation schemes. For Masinga, we are not looking to increase generation. We are looking to increase the holding capacity. That means that during the prolonged drought season, we can be able to generate with the hydros for longer and also mitigate flooding downstream. So that is the purpose of raising Masinga, not for power generation, but holding more water. Now for high ground, we anticipate to have probably between 200 as a base load and peaking capacity of up to 700 megawatts. So it's going to help us because our grid is mainly with some renewables variable, that is wind and solar. So we want to have a base load, probably about 200 megawatts, and also a capacity spinning reserve of about 600 megawatts, such that should any plant go, we can be able to push up to 600, 700 megawatts at a go from high ground force dam. Of course, the two projects are going to be highly capital intensive. This one we have financing. I do not want to say from where, but we do have financing for Masinga. For high ground, we are looking to do it as a PPP project, because you know very well that we have a constrained headroom in terms of borrowing for national government. If we had good breathing space, we would have borrowed to build high ground. But now, because of the constrained headroom, we want to do it as a PPP.
The perception we have down there is that KenGen is the one which is releasing water to our farmers downstream or our people downstream. But now I can see it for myself that this is a natural flow. Rains are blessings to our country, and we can't complain about them. What we need is to how to mitigate those effects of these waters. We have firm commitment from the Ministry of Energy that they will do 2 projects. One, the high ground dam past Kiambere, which actually affects us downstream. Masinga overflow might not be the biggest challenge for us, because even at the height of El Nino, we did not have that overflow from these dams, but we had effects of rains that rained after the Kiambere Dam. So I want to appreciate the government through the PS Energy and through PS Interior for bringing me here also to tell my people that there is a looming danger. The dams of Masinga is overflowing, means the net effect will be that the wastewater will reach Garissa in the next 3 days. That means they need to move to higher grounds. The County Commissioner of Garissa has given that directives that people should move to the high grounds. And hopefully the effects and the impact of this flow will be minimized this time. And I want to appeal also once again to the government to hasten that program of building the high ground dams as they have promised, so that we do not have this kind of situation year in, year out. Our farmers downstream Garissa and Tana River are really completely discouraged. In fact, one guy was telling me this morning that if this happens, he will move out of farming business, because it is coming in every year, year in, year out. So for those who are downstream, I want to appeal to you, please take the heed of the national government officers who are on the ground, and they should move to higher grounds. The situation is not very good as we are in.
Give the engineer.
Yeah, okay, then we had in the morning, we dispatched we are already dispatching one machine. But if it returns from the north of both Masinga and again. Angoje. I think the maximum in my achieve will go to what? But